Hey everyone, my name is Katie Robertson. I'm the founder and director for the Anchor Gathering, and this is the Anchor Moment, and I want to tell you a little bit about what that is. It's a time we get to hear from a guest a little bit about their life, their faith journey, and an anchor moment. And that is a time that someone has had their faith grounded and they've seen Jesus for real in their lives. So we are so excited at this time you get to hear firsthand a personal story from one of our guests, and we hope that you'll be encouraged.
Hi, my name's Mona Arredondo, and I live in Sammamish, Washington. I live there with my husband, who I've been married to for 25 years, and we have two wonderful kids, Ethan, who's 20, and Kate, who is 18. And my youngest just left for college 6 months ago, so I am a new empty nester. So I have been busy with hobbies and traveling and visitors and volunteering, but I do want to work again one day. Before kids, I worked in the corporate world, and we moved a lot for my husband's job, and I ended up staying home with the kids, and it was the most fun I've ever had, including plenty of hard times too. And one thing I do love is Bible study. I love my time alone with God, and I love my time with my friends talking about God and learning. As far as my faith, I always believed in God, but it took time to blossom and grow and let God define it and not me. Over time, as the Bible says, God drew me in with his loving kindness, and I'm very thankful. Because he loved me, I can love others. And because he loves me, I want to sin less, and the world becomes less appealing. Things that our culture values, like money and fame, all become less important, and I love to do the things that God values, which is loving people and giving his hope, telling how there's more to this world than what we can see. He's become the source of all my joy and peace and wisdom. None of that changes, even during the hard times. A couple of years ago, my son had a cardiac arrest at 18. Him and my daughter were presenting at youth night at church, and they were on stage. There were about 200 kids in the room, and he said that they were going to play a game, and he ran off stage and collapsed. When he collapsed, no one knew what was happening. Someone there was ex-military, ex-police, and some people knew CPR, and he was resuscitated. When they figured out what was wrong, they had to clear the room, and the ambulance came, and about 15 people followed us to the hospital and just stood outside and prayed. As I look back through it, I could see God's presence through all of it. Because we were at church, we were surrounded by so many people we knew. I remember during that time, I consoled my daughter, and I was wishing that my friend was there that had lost a son, and she would understand what I was feeling and that she could console me. And I asked someone to call her, and by God's providence, she was right next door. And she was there in 5 minutes, and she took control, told everyone what to do. She drove my daughter and I to the hospital, and I'm so thankful for that. And because of COVID, there were a lot of restrictions. And so my daughter, my husband, and I were in and out of the ER with the people praying back in the ER. And when someone has a cardiac arrest, they put people in a coma. So my son was put in a coma for 24 hours. And during that process, he tested positive for COVID. So everyone had to leave. So we went home. And what we later found out is the ER nurses came to find us and told us that they were Christians, and they prayed for him. They handed him off to their ICU best friend, who was a Christian, and stayed with him and prayed all night long. The next day, my son was to come out of the coma, and only one person could go, so I went. And I just held on to God to see if he would wake up, and he did. And I had to explain to him what happened to him, and it was hard, but God. And he made that a very special time, and we prayed together, and Ethan healed very fast. Over the next 2 weeks, my husband and I switched off spending time at the hospital with Ethan and spending time at home with Kate. And it was very hard with the COVID restrictions because we couldn't all be together, so that was heartbreaking. Ethan had to have several tests run, and his doctor also was a Christian, so he was handed off Christian to Christian. And him and the doctor bonded very fast. And I just remember after one test, the doctor came running to tell me that Ethan had stopped everyone before the test and said, "Can I pray for everyone?" And he was so encouraged in his faith by seeing an 18-year-old do that. And the next day, Ethan had a procedure, and the doctor stopped everyone and prayed for Ethan. So I was very thankful for all of that. And all of that just reminded me of a quote by Dietrich Bonhoeffer that says, "We bring God into the physical world for each other." And that's what they did for each other. Ethan is very healthy now and has his testimony for God. The whole time his faith was strong. And we were so encouraged by all the love and prayers and cards that we received from everyone. People made signs to hang in the hospital with verses. And there were just a lot of ways that God's light shone through the whole process. His suffering has a purpose. He can talk about God's love. And my daughter has a testimony, and I have a testimony. And we're all thankful. And I'm thankful that Ethan is alive and that I get to spend more time with him. It's been 2 years since this happened, and I'm still sad. I'm slow to process, but I know we don't know why we have to go through suffering and hard times. That mystery belongs to God. We were in God's hands the whole way. And it's Isaiah 42:16. And it says, "And I will lead the blind in a way that they do not know. In paths they have not known, I will guide them. I will turn the darkness before them into light, the rough places into level ground. These are the things I do, and I do not forsake them." So thank you for letting me share, and God bless you.